not everyone gets angry at the same things. Have you wondered why somebody could be saying something and only you among the people that are receiving the same statement in the same action become aggressive? The reason is that you make yourself angry by the way you perceive and interpret the event that triggers you. It is your perceptions towards it, your interpretation of what you hear and what you see that triggers the anger. And ultimately that says you allow outside circumstances, situations outside of you to control you and to steal your peace, to control your peace of mind. In other words, you give away, you hand over your power. Expressing your anger that way, being aggressive, shouting, makes you lose your credibility, and it says you are failing to manage anger. There are a couple of things you can do that you can use of exercises to manage your anger. First and foremost, acknowledge what you feel, how you feel, and process and challenge what triggered it. Challenge the thought behind that. Focus on the physical sensation of anger. Though it may seem counterintuitive, tuning into the way your body feels when you are angry often lessens the emotional intensity of your anger. For example, start paying attention to your head. How about your neck? How is your neck feeling? Relax your jaw, relax your fists, open your hands, and move your shoulders and arms in circles, in circular motions. Stretch or massage areas of tension. If you pay attention to your body, you'll be able to identify areas that are getting knotted as a result of you getting worked up because of anger. Then roll your shoulders if you can feel tension in your shoulders. Roll them. And for example, you can also gently just massage your neck and your scalp. The other thing you may also do is to take some deep breath. Deep, slow breathing can help counteract the rising tension. The key is to breathe deeply from the abdomen, getting as much fresh air as possible into your lungs. Then take a quick and fast walk around the room, for example. Or ideally, you can just go walk around the garden. It releases pent-up energy, pent-up emotion, so you can approach this situation with a cooler head when you are calmer. It gives you a timeout. And slowly, you can also count to 10. Focus on the counting to let your rational mind catch up with your feelings, so you can approach this situation with a cooler, clear head. And slowly, you can repeat that by counting to 10. Focus on the counting. That helps you to calm down. You can also take a few minutes break. If you sense that you notice that things are getting heated between you and the person that you are trying to have a dialogue, a discussion, or you are having an argument with, remove yourself from the situation for a few minutes, or for as long as it can take for you to cool down. But nonetheless, make sure you do communicate this. Don't just bang the door and walk out on the person you are trying to have a discussion with, or your parents, or your spouse, your partner. Be saying, I need a timeout, I need to go for a walk, I need to get a breather, I need to go out. Do something else for a few minutes in order for you to be able to calm yourself down. That helps to release pent-up emotions. And then it helps you to be able to approach the situation differently. The next thing you can also do is to identify what you are really angry about. Big fights often happen over something so small, like a person being 10 minutes late may trigger some people severely to the point where they may even become aggressive. But there is usually a bigger issue behind this. Behind that, if you've been piling up issues of resentment, offenses, and getting angry, and you kept on suppressing and never presenting how this situation makes you feel, chances are just somebody arriving late for the appointment you agreed is just going to be an issue, and it may trigger that tendency to get aggressive, challenge what you are feeling, and challenging your thoughts. What am I really angry about? Identifying the real source of frustration will help you communicate your anger much better. Take constructive action and work towards a resolution. Focus on the present. Once you are in that heated moment of arguing, it's easy to start throwing past grievances and into the mix and taking all the things from the past that you never address and throwing it into the current situation. Focus on what has triggered you now, rather than drawing all the issues that you've been piling up and that you've been suppressing that happened 5 years ago, 2 weeks ago. Focus on the present issue that has triggered you. The tendency to say, last year you did 1, 2, 3, 4, you did 1, 2, 3, it shows you've been harboring resentment. It says you failed to address the issue back then. Now you are trying to bring it into the mix. Rather than looking to the past and assigning blame, focus on what you can do in the present to solve the problem. Be engaging with the other person to say, how can we solve this? How can we address this? Presenting how you rather prefer to be treated. Allow the other person to come up with suggestions and see what you feel about that, and be coming up with our own suggestions so that you both could be able to compromise and meet each other halfway. Be willing to forgive. Failure to forgive past incidences creates suppressed emotions, pent up emotions that often will be triggered by something small and will manifest in a way that will be unproportional to the thing that just triggered you. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it. Rather, it's your suppressed anger and your reactive anger that will cause harm to your relationships. The relationship you have with your child, the relationship you have with your son, with your daughter, with your wife, with your husband, those are the ones that will suffer. Or if it's at the workplace, the relationship you have with your supervisor or with your subordinates, those are the ones that will suffer. Because anger that's not properly expressed, that manifests in anger outbursts in a reactive manner rather than healthy way, only hurts you and hurt the people you live with, and depletes and drains your life. And then in the long run, you develop psychosomatic ailment caused by harming the relationships and creating more harm to yourself. Let me ask you a question. Has anger that you've been using, has it worked for you? How has it helped your relationship? How has it helped you get what you want? What you yearning for and what you want deep down is respect, is love, peace, is harmony. But aggressiveness will not help you achieve that. Maybe it's time to do the opposite. Do what we call body scanning. Focus on the physical sensations. When you are angry, what are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Some people develop sweaty palms. Some people start shaking, their body tremors, and some people start developing a headache. They can feel it, and their shoulders start tensing up. If they can't breathe properly. So all these strategies I've shared, like taking a deep breath, taking a quick and fast walk, slowly counting to 10, taking a 5 minutes break or time out from the heated debate, identifying or challenging the anger, identifying what's behind that anger, the perceptions, the thoughts, and focusing on the present rather than dragging the past. And be willing to forgive. When you do this, you'll be able to properly regulate your anger successfully, which will enhance your relationships.